Picture this, you're standing in a trench, clutching your rifle, when suddenly the ground starts shaking. Through the morning mist, a metal beast emerges, unstoppable, terrifying, and heading straight for you. Your bullets bounce off its armor like pebbles. What do you do? Today, we're revealing the shocking evolution of tank warfare and the ingenious survival tactics that soldiers discovered across more than a century of combat. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn might just save your life in the unthinkable. Welcome back to Twilight Telling, where we dive deep into the untold stories of warfare and survival. Tanks have dominated battlefields for over 100 years, evolving from slow-moving iron boxes into high-tech killing machines. But here's the thing, every weapon has a weakness. Today, we're journeying through time, from the muddy fields of World War I to the drone-filled skies of modern conflict, uncovering the tactics that turned helpless infantry into tank hunters. Let's begin where it all started. World War I, the birth of armored terror. The first encounter. Transport yourself back to 1917, deep in the Western Front trenches. You've survived months of artillery bombardment and gas attacks, but nothing prepares you for what's coming. The rumble of engines cuts through the dawn silence. Then you see it, the Mark IV, Britain's parallelogram-shaped steel monster, rolling effortlessly over barbed wire that took your comrades hours to string up. For soldiers who'd never seen mechanized warfare, this moment was pure nightmare fuel. The psychological impact cannot be overstated. Your trusty Mauser 98 rifle, reliable against enemy soldiers, becomes a worthless piece of metal. Standard steel core bullets ricochet harmlessly off the 12mm armor plating. Imagine the terror spreading down the line as men realize their weapons are useless, discovering the weaknesses. But here's where human ingenuity kicks in. Soldiers quickly noticed something crucial. These early tanks weren't invincible giants. They were actually quite vulnerable. Think about it. These machines crawled across no man's land at walking speed. A determined soldier could literally outpace them. The thick, waterlogged mud that made infantry life miserable became an unexpected ally. Tank tracks would sink, get clogged, or simply get stuck in shell craters and ditches. Nature itself became the first line of defense. The Battle of Cambrai revealed another critical flaw: visibility. Tank crews were essentially fighting blind. They viewed the battlefield through tiny viewing slits, with extremely limited peripheral vision. The sides and rear of these tanks were massive blind zones. Infantry learned to exploit this weakness ruthlessly. The tactic was terrifying in its simplicity. Suppress your fear, let the tank roll past your position, then attack from behind. The German response. German forces developed the Gebeltladung, a bundled cluster of stick grenades tied together to multiply explosive force. The target, the tank's tracks. Destroy the tracks, and you've turned a mobile fortress into a stationary coffin. The survival principle was brutally simple. Control your panic. Wait until the tank enters throwing range, and strike at the vulnerable track system with concentrated explosives. World War II, urban jungle warfare. Stalingrad, where tanks became targets. Fast forward to World War II, and the battlefield shifted to devastated cities. Stalingrad became the perfect laboratory for urban anti-tank tactics. Narrow streets, rubble-choked alleyways, and bombed-out buildings created a maze that neutralized the tank's mobility advantage. Infantry discovered the power of vertical warfare. Heavy German Tigers, with their fearsome 88mm guns, had a fatal limitation: limited barrel elevation. Soldiers positioned on second or third floors gained perfect sight lines to the tank's weakest points: the thin armor on the turret roof and engine deck. From above, these steel beasts became surprisingly fragile targets. Molotov cocktails and street fighting. The Molotov cocktail became the iconic weapon of desperate defenders. These simple bottles filled with gasoline, oil, or chemical mixtures were devastatingly effective when aimed precisely at engine vents. The burning liquid would pour into the engine compartment, consuming oxygen, triggering fires, and turning the crew compartment into a furnace. It was low-tech, high-impact warfare. Portable anti-tank revolution. Germany's Panzerfaust represented a game-changing development. The single-use disposable launcher fired shaped charge warheads that focused explosive energy into a penetrating jet of superheated metal. The catch? Effective range was only 30 to 60 meters. Using one required nerves of steel. You had to let the tank get dangerously close before firing. On the Eastern Front, Soviet tank waves forced German infantry to develop even more desperate tactics. The Haft-Haltung magnetic mine required soldiers to physically approach tanks, attach the explosive device directly to the hull, and escape before detonation. Success depended entirely on exploiting blind spots and achieving the element of surprise. Modern warfare, the technological arms race. Explosive reactive armor. Enter the modern era, and tanks gained a new defensive layer, explosive reactive armor, or ERA. Those distinctive boxes covering modern tanks aren't just decoration. They're explosive tiles that detonate outward when struck, neutralizing incoming rocket warheads before penetration occurs. It seemed like an impenetrable defense. But infantry adapted once again. The solution came in tandem warheads, found on weapons like the RPG-29. These projectiles carry two explosive charges in sequence. The first charge triggers the ERA, sacrificing itself to clear the way. Milliseconds later, the second charge strikes the now exposed armor beneath. It's an elegant solution to a complex problem. Grozny, a cautionary tale. The 1994 Battle of Grozny provided a brutal education in modern urban tank warfare. Russian T-72 and T-80 columns rolled into city streets without proper infantry support, a catastrophic tactical error. Chechen fighters organized specialized hunter-killer teams with coordinated roles. Snipers destroyed periscopes and optical sensors, effectively blinding the crews. Machine gunners pinned down supporting infantry. RPG operators positioned themselves in upper floors or basements, achieving perfect vertical firing angles at the vulnerable turret roof and rear engine compartment. The T-72's design feature became its death sentence. Its autoloader ammunition carousel, located at the turret base, created a catastrophic vulnerability. A successful penetration triggered a chain reaction among stored rounds. The resulting internal explosion generated such massive pressure that it literally blasted the multi-ton turret completely off the tank body, a phenomenon known as Jack-in-the-Box. This proved that even modern main battle tanks remain vulnerable to well-executed close-range attacks. 21st century, drones change everything. The drone revolution. Today's battlefield is unrecognizable from previous eras. Surveillance drones monitor armored movements in real time. From safe distances of several kilometers, operators identify tank positions and relay coordinates to artillery units or anti-tank teams with surgical precision. The Ukraine conflict introduced a terrifying new weapon, first-person view attack drones. These modified commercial quadcopters carry RPG warheads and operate like manually guided missiles. Pilots fly them directly into vulnerable spots, the gap between hull and turret, exposed hatches, or engine vents. The economics are staggering. A few $100 drone can destroy a multi-million-dollar tank. Adaptations and counter-adaptations. Tank crews responded with improvised field modifications. Metal cage armor, often called cope cages, appeared welded onto turret roofs. These grilles serve as standoff armor, triggering warheads before they reach the main structure. Some crews installed wire netting to entangle drone propellers. High-end tanks, like the Israeli Merkava, now feature active protection systems, automated defense using radar to detect incoming threats and fire interceptor projectiles that destroy rockets in mid-air. It's like having an invisible protective dome. But fighters adapted again, reverting to zero-range tactics. In Gaza and elsewhere, combatants approach from sensor-blind spots and manually place explosives on tank hulls. APS radar systems, designed to track high-speed projectiles from distance, often fail to detect slow-moving threats at point-blank range. Conclusion. The pattern is clear across more than a century of armored warfare. Each advancement in tank protection spawns a new generation of countermeasures. Armor gets thicker, sensors replace viewing slits, and defenses evolve from bundled grenades to autonomous interception systems. Yet the fundamental dynamic remains unchanged. Tanks are sophisticated machines, but machines have limitations, mechanical weaknesses, sensor blind spots, crew fatigue, and dependency on support systems. Throughout history, technological superiority has consistently met its match in tactical creativity and battlefield adaptation. The key to survival against tanks, whether in 1917 or 2024, lies in understanding these vulnerabilities. Exploit the environment, target weak points, coordinate attacks, and never underestimate human adaptability. In the end, it's not the strongest weapon that prevails, it's the most adaptable mind behind it. What do you think about this evolution of tank warfare? Have we reached the end of the tank's dominance on the battlefield, or will they continue to adapt? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this deep dive fascinating, smash that like button, share this video with fellow history enthusiasts, and subscribe to Twilight Telling for more incredible stories from the shadows of history. Until next time, stay curious.